Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hi there. Good morning, Austin. Good afternoon, Austin. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, sure. Apologies for that. I forgot to turn on my camera myself. It's just evening time for me. I'm situated in Lisbon, Portugal, so it's a little bit
Huh?
evening time for me. I
Hmm.
sometimes forget. Oh, wow. That's a pretty nice bug band there.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. My father is a hunter himself, so I have a bit of an interest towards this side.
Me too, man. Me too.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I have these back at home because my parents, they're from Pakistan. I never
Huh?
lived there, obviously, myself. I was mostly in Europe. Most of the time I spent in Ukraine, Kiev. After the war, I moved away. But yeah,
Hmm.
this takes me back. All right, so I see two more people are scheduled to join in. One is Kyle and another person. Are they joining, or is it just you and me today?
David should be joining.
Mhm.
Let me give him a call. Make sure he's still good.
Sure.
Hey, are you joining that Zoom? Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, he was asking if there was anybody else joining. Okay, sounds good. I'll let him know you're on your way. David is on his way.
All right, not a problem. And I suppose Kyle is not joining, so I'm recording this meeting. I will be sharing a copy with you at the end, so definitely we can have this for Kyle too.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. While we're waiting, I hope you don't mind. I would like to get a better understanding of the project there. I have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll try to answer the best I can.
Alrighty, so I was given to understand that the project is being set up for spring summertime this year, with
Hmm.
about 10 computer stations and about 30 consoles like PlayStation and Xboxes mix.
Yeah, we got about 16 consoles, eight PlayStation, eight Xbox, and then we got about I want to say 13 PCs,
Hmm. Wow.
gaming PCs.
All right, so that's more than what I was informed. All right, perfect, not a problem. So I will be able to. I had one of the offers prepared for today, but after this call, I will just change things around and send you the appropriate offer. Awesome. And have you guys tested any other solutions so far?
Not yet, no.
Hmm. All righty. Okay, here we go. David is here. Hello.
Hello?
Hi, David. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry I'm late.
Not a problem. It's okay. We just joined in. It's been not too long, and we are recording this meeting, so we decided if anybody missed out, we definitely can pass the recording to them. Um, okay. So I appreciate you guys scheduling this time with me and for your interest in our product, Senet. Uh, as I understood, Kyle is not going to join. So as I mentioned, we are recording. We will share a copy with them, and anybody else who's not able to join in today. My name is Mohammed. You can call me Mohammed. That's easier. That's what I tell people. It's easier to pronounce. And I'm the team lead over here for sales for international sales at Senet Software, and I'll be showing you the presentation today.
Okay.
Yeah. I did ask a few questions to Austin, and he did help me understand the project that is being planned there, like the number of stations and exactly what is being planned. So I have a excuse me, I have a general understanding of the setup, and I will be showing you accordingly today. I hope you can see my screen already over here.
Yep.
Alrighty,
Yep.
perfect. Let me just do like this. It's easier. Alrighty, so as you can see my screen, let me start with the basics. If you will have any questions over there, please stop me right there and ask me, and I'll be happy to address that for you.
Okay.
Perfect. So as you can see my screen, I'm in a browser right now. So Senet is a cloud-based software. It runs on the web page right now. As you can see, I'm using Google Chrome. So the benefit of having a cloud-based solution such as ours is that this administration side is accessible from pretty much anywhere in the world. All you need is this URL over here and the login password to your admin account, and you can remotely tap in, see what is happening in real time, like how many gamers are sitting, which staff member is currently on duty, even downloading reports remotely is a possibility. Now, the first section we have over here is the map section. It's what we call the club map or the map section. Now, what this means over here, the map section is basically a grid where you can map out how the facility or the devices are inside the facility, where they're placed. So if I go to the configuration mode over here, I can change the existing layout and I can add more PCs or consoles to this station. Now, our system is color coded, as you can see by one of the stations that I have online. So just by the outline color, it helps you to understand what user group is sitting on that station. Now, I have taken the liberty of creating a few examples over here. Obviously, these user types can be changed. You can add more, you can change the current ones, you can rename them, change the color. So currently I have a member sitting over here. So I can see just by the outline color what user group is on that station. A quick question before I jump to the next step. Will the gamers be charged over there for using the machines, or is it going to be more like a community center setup where they're not being charged at all?
Well, it'll be community. They'll have a membership to the community center, but they'll have access to that
Okay.
room.
Alrighty, so everything will be done, like all the payments and everything, membership will be done at the community center, not through our system, if I understand
Yep,
correctly.
yep. Yep.
Alrighty, perfect. So in that manner, obviously we work with a lot of universities and education institutions which have the similar setup, so that's not going to be a problem. Right now, what we can track over here by just putting our mouse on top of the station and is the following details. So we can track the person's name and their login name. So basically the person who's logged in. At the moment, my system is showing that it is being, the revenue is being generated, the gamers are being charged, but that's not going to be a problem if you're setting up where they're not being charged. So what we can track over here, we can track the person's rate, basically how many hours they have to play, they were given to play, and the remaining time, which you can see on the left-hand side. So right now I have 3 hour pass into my account, and I have about 2 hours and 51 minutes remaining. So the idea is that the gamers can either play per hour if you guys would like that, or the easiest setup what we do for the universities is that create a 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour passes and give these passes to the gamers. So once their time is done, they will be logged out of the stations. And same goes for the consoles. So on this screen, the square ones are like 1 till 7 are the PCs, including the 46. And then at the bottom here, you can see 10, 11, 13, 9. The round ones are the consoles. Setup is the same. They will have the same outline color when different users log in and when they're playing their sessions, and you'll be able to track down the same details for their accounts too. And once you click on a PC station or a console station, a lot of options appear on the top. So not all of these features that I will be showing you work for the consoles, but let me explain to you which ones work for the PCs at the moment. So once you click on a PC station, a lot of options appear over here. For example, one of the options is a Wake on LAN feature, which once configured properly will help you to remotely switch off the PC and remotely restart the PC. As well as we provide a remote access feature. I'm pretty sure you have some experience of using these screen sharing software such as AnyDesk or similar to the TeamViewer option that I'm using right now. This works in the same way where you can remotely connect to your gamer's desktop, real-time track what they're doing, and if you guys would like to perform remote maintenance, in most of the cases it is possible. Now, a lot of universities that we work with, as I mentioned, they have the similar use case. We developed a feature for them right over here. This is the gamers chat option, where the admins and the gamers can real-time communicate with each other. So for example, let's say if you want to send them a message, you can send them a message, hi. They hear a sound notification on their end, and they can see this chat with admin at the right bottom corner blinking. They can click on it, read your message, and get back to you. This all happens real time. So for example, let's say if one of the gamers is having issues launching a particular game or a title, they don't have to get up and chase an admin. They can send a message from here. If the admins are in front of the station, they will hear a notification. They can come here, communicate with the gamers, and try to remotely connect and fix the problem for them. So this is how we made the combination of the gamers chat option with this remote desktop option. We are not limited to these kind of communication channels. This is obviously a back and forth communication with the gamers, but here we have, excuse me, we have two more communication options, but these are like pop-up notifications, so it's one-sided. So let me show you how this works. So if I send a warning right now by selecting this station, they will see this on the top of their screens. Now this only works for the PCs. at the moment, but we have an application for the consoles, basically for the smart televisions, where we're trying to replicate this. The application is already in work, so you guys can already use that for the console station, like PlayStation, Xboxes, and Switches. But basically this warning or this pop-up notification deployment will be done in about 2 weeks, and it'll be a possibility to not just send this warning to the PC gamers but also to the console gamers if you'll be using our excuse me using our TV application for the consoles. Now the second option is the same as a pop-up notification, but you can actually type in the notification over here. It can be anything. You can hit send. The gamers will see this on the top of their screens. And then obviously as admins over there, they will have the ability to stop a session, basically log out a person from their PCs and add more accounts over here too, like create member accounts. Now, the reason why we always advise and basically prefer our clients creating member accounts for their gamers is because it's easier to track everybody's performance, how much time they're spending. In normal cases, you're able to track down the money they're spending as well and how much revenue generated. But in your case, you will be able to track down how much time they've spent on which machine they've spent the most time, and generally what kind of games and applications are popular. Now, here it's pretty easy to add an account. You put in their details over here, give them generic passwords like 1234, ABCD. They can go back to their stations and change their details over here, including their passwords. Or the second option is, which I will show you at the end. I just do not want to log out over here. It takes a bit of a time for me to just set up everything. But on the login screen, there is another option where they just click over here to register an account. They can register the account from the login screen as well. In case, let me just actually show you, it'll be more easier. In case if obviously you guys do not want to create the accounts for them, or they do not want the admins to create accounts for them from here, the gamers have the ability to do this on their screens over here. This is the login screen, which will be customized to your needs by setting up backgrounds over here. Now, this is what I mentioned by not registered. So we just click over here and we can create our accounts. Obviously, the privacy policy and the gaming center rules, like basically terms and conditions, will be yours, which we can set up over here as a link so the gamers can visit that too. So this is how our map section works at the moment. Do you have any questions, anything that I was not clear on over here?
So how many, with the accounts, the purpose of the accounts is to do what, to track their progress?
Yeah, and it's easier because they will not need any admins intervention for the admins to log them in. They just come in on the login screen that I just showed you on the other side. They just put in their login and password and they just start playing.
Okay. So does it something that somebody will have to maintain all those user accounts if they forget their password?
Yep. So that's pretty easy. Even as I mentioned, this is remotely accessible. So even if there is nobody on site, staff members can, or the team in the head office can do it from here. This is the user's database, and they can reset their passwords for them. They will be basically sent an email when we reset the password because the accounts are linked to the email. So whenever there are any kind of changes, they're getting notified by email. So if password reset, they will be getting an email and they can do it by themselves then.
Okay, and I saw where you can remote in. Is that something where you could pull up all the screens on one window if you wanted to, all the Windows machines?
All the gaming, like the gamers machines, right? So they cannot be pulled on all at the same time, but one by one, we can remotely connect to them. So this is what I'm doing is since one of the, well, let me explain to you what I'm doing on my screen, why I have two different interfaces. So this is the client side. Now what the gamers will see, obviously this will be customized to your needs, setting up the backgrounds, the logos, and what is basically shown on the screen. So this side is an application that goes on the PCs, on the computers. So this is, I'm connected to another station that is sitting in another room. I'm connected via TeamViewer over here because I wanted to show you both sides of the experience. So for the gamers, this is what they have. The admins have this remote access, like a web-based application where the admins or the staff members over there can access and basically get into it over here remotely.
Okay. Does it work on, I heard you mention game consoles, so you can see, can you see what's on a game console? Is that PlayStation and Xbox?
Yeah, so we cannot connect to the screen of the game console because this particular feature, like the remote access feature, works in just for the Windows. So the game consoles are connected to these different kind of televisions, and we have an application that goes on the television, not on the console itself either. So we control what goes around from the television.
Okay.
Now, let me jump to the next feature that we have. And please, if you remember any questions or you want to ask, please stop me and I will be happy to address that. Now, we're at the booking module. I'm pretty sure the name gives it away. And this is allowing your gamers to reserve their favorite PCs or consoles before coming to the gaming center itself. Now, I'm not sure if this is something of a use for you. By the way, do you think this would be a use where the gamers, not let's say on a normal use, but maybe just for the events, they can schedule their times and their stations for that particular, let's say, event?
You think, Austin?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I won't really know until we haven't. I've never had anything like this, so it'll be a kind of a trial and error the first several months.
No, the thing is that we provide 24/7 support, so
Mhm.
we're able to make changes and help you and guide you anytime right away. So that's not going to be a problem where you guys will not be alone in managing and even in setting up this product into your stations. We do the whole process with you, making sure that everything is set up before you go live with the facility itself. Now, let me explain to you basically what this feature is, and then obviously it will make more sense how this works, and then you can determine in the long run whether this will be useful or not. Now, it's pretty easy to use this booking feature, not just for the admins, but also for the gamers or the clients you will have, or the gamers who are coming in over there. For example, this is where we are tracking as admins all the reservations or bookings for each of the PC and console. Again, the round ones are the console, the square ones are the PCs. The gamers, however, they will access this at this web page. So you can set this link up on your Facebook, Instagram, embedded on your website. The gamers will click on this link, come to this page. If they are already, so this booking feature works only for people who have created their member or login account with you guys. Now, member does not mean entitled that they have to purchase a membership. Member account is just a login account in our system, so it's easier login access for everybody who has an account. They don't have to wait for anybody. So if they have an account already, they can just do the authorization and sign in. If they do not have an account created yet, and if you want that your potential gamers, kids who are who might be interested in coming to the center over here, if they can create their accounts at home, definitely it is a possibility from our side. We can leave this registration button over here. The gamers can put in their emails. They will get an email with the next steps, and they can create their accounts, and even we can help you set up your terms and conditions over here as a link. So let's say I'm a gamer. I already have an account. I just do the authorization and sign in. Now on this side, please do not mind. It's a little bit rough right now. We're doing some testing on my side. So right now we can see the logo. So we will help you set up the logos and make it more themed to your needs. Now, what the gamers are able to do actually, they can select the date, the time, and how many hours they're looking to play. Now, once they do that, the system refreshes and shows the gamers what is available and what is not, whether the PCs and consoles are available or not. So apparently at the moment, we have everything available. Now, in normal cases, what you can see on the right-hand side, in normal cases, when the gamers are being charged some amount to play, we always advise to charge a deposit amount to kind of stop any kind of spam bookings coming, because this might happen and happen to one of our clients when this feature was not here, that they were getting spam bookings sometimes. So to avoid that, we usually advise this, but in your case, you're not going to be having any kind of revenues or money going through our system. So that's not going to be a concern. We just set up the deposit to 0. The gamers just confirm their reservations over here. Real time, we get a pop-up notification on this end that's on the admin side that somebody booked for 7th in the evening. So let's go over here. And here is the booking we just placed on station number 1. And right, just by hovering over the station, we can track down all the details, which member booked it, what is their login name. It's my first name with the number 3. Then we have the booking date and time and the status of the booking as well. Now, it's not like these book reservations cannot be moved around. Definitely the admins and you guys will be able to change the reservation. You can move them to a different station, to a different date and time, and you just make a comment why you made these changes. And as soon as we hit this reschedule this booking button, they will be getting an email notification about the changes that were done to their booking. So this is how the booking feature works. And I'm hopeful that this will be something of a use for you in the long run. Not let's say in the start, but hopefully in the long run, because we work, as I said, we work with a lot of universities, and we see that they do find it useful, especially when they're having these small events all the time, every other week. So they use our booking feature to let the gamers reserve some time, so they don't have to come and wait for their turns. There's a lot of micromanagement in the bookings, but what I wanted to show you is how you can control when the reservations or bookings can come through. So you have the ability to create your schedule over here for the whole week or for every day. It's up to you. Let's say, for example, every day from 7 o'clock in the evening till 9 o'clock, or from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 o'clock in the evening, the reservations are possible, not before that and not after that time. So here we can help you create that schedule that will help you to basically control when the reservations are possible from here. How do you like this feature without talking about whether this will be suitable for you guys? How do you think this has any practicality over here?
I mean, yeah,
Possibly.
I think it'd be handy for sure.
All righty. I mean, again, if you guys will not find a use for this in the start, this is a part of the product. It will be here. You do not want to use it's not an obligation. It will not bother you by notifying you, or even your gamers will not be aware if you do not want to use this feature. So, excuse me. Now, jumping to the content part, a quick question, if you don't mind, regarding the computer stations. So, if I understand correctly, all the computer stations will have their individual SSDs, and all the games will be stored on individual PCs, correct?
Yes, as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, because there are two options. I'm not sure if you're aware. There are two options one is this traditional setup where you have PCs and the games are in each PC there are games. The second option is where you set up a centralized server, or how you call diskless booting or pixie booting, which allows you to have one centralized server. All the games and applications are in that particular machine, which is, by the way, not an admin machine and definitely not a client machine. It has to be separate. But that usually is used for doing updates and making sure everything is accordingly into each PC when it comes to game updates and new games and changes in the games. So obviously,
that would probably be a David question.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I guess you need a beefy computer for all of them to connect to it, wouldn't you?
Yep, that is correct. Definitely that requires. Sorry, you were saying.
And you need a server that probably has some redundancy in it.
Exactly, that is correct.
But does it create much slow the network down at all, or the game at all, doing it this way?
No, it does not. That's why we have specific requirements, so that once you meet those requirements based on the number of stations that you will be having, there will be no lag. That's why we do not sell the hardware or the server or any kind of components ourselves, but we definitely guide you to where's the machine you want to build. But just wanted to clear that this is not an obligation. We do not have to have this server on site. We work perfectly fine if we do not have that server on site for any kind of diskless booting. We actually offer additional features. For example, let's say if you do not want to have a server, because one of the benefits of having a server on site is mass updates and automatic updates. If you do not have a server on site, not a problem. We still offer you not an automatic update feature, but a mass update feature. And let's say, for example, at the moment, since the plans are to have SSDs in all the PCs, let me show you how our update feature will work. And just in case, after today's call, when I will be sending you recording and the pricing, I will share with you our our specs and requirements that we recommend to have in case you would like to use our functionality for our diskless booting system called Senet Boot. So as you can see my screen over here, I'm sorry, you said something?
I didn't say them.
I just heard something. Maybe there was something else. Nevertheless, now, apologies, I couldn't hear you well.
My phone beeped a second ago. That's all it was.
Okay, no problem. Now, on the content is basically all the games and applications and browsers that you want to offer in the PCs. Because for the consoles, the games are being downloaded into the console itself. We help you to control how much time the gamers are spending, who logs in, but the rest of the functionality will be the same. Like, for example, if you turn on PlayStation at home, you have an interface of PlayStation, all the list of games, the whole library will be the same. But for the PCs, we help you to secure the PCs more so the people cannot delete anything and they cannot basically change around the settings. That's why we always help you to create this content library, like all the games, applications, and browsers. So the gamers do not have to go to your normal desktop windows. They have this shell interface. They will stay here. They have the list of games and applications right over here. So everything, even including settings and communication applications are here. So they don't have to leave this screen. So your PCs are secure. This is where we set the games and applications up. It's pretty easy. As I mentioned, we will help you throughout the process, but let me just quickly give you an overview of how this is done. You have the full name. You can write in the description over here. Upload your own image cover. Normally, let's say League of Legends or LOL's, basically your cover image is like this. But if you want to customize it, you can set up your own cover image over here. That's what the gamers will see. Now, this is where we made it quite not extremely easy, but still a bit easier for people to add the games is by embedding all of these launchers over here. So all of these launching methods are these publishers, Steam, Rockstar, Riot Games, all of them. So all we gotta do is select the launch method, set up the game ID, path to save. If any specific launch parameters needed, that can be set up over here, and the destination path goes here. Now, once we set this up, one of the requirements that we have, for example, let's say if we're talking about LOL League of Legends, if you have that in PC number 1 or computer number 1 in Drive D, let's say, in folder games, it should be the same replication in all the PCs, because over here we just set up a general path over here. We cannot set it up for each of the PC stations. So that's why if you're having games in all of the PCs, the path where all the games are should be similar in all the PCs. So system does not have any problem or any kind of conflict when it's trying to launch a game, let's say in PC number 6, and when it's already working perfectly fine in PC number 1. So this is why we always recommend to have all the games in the same folder in all the PCs. Now, coming to the license pool, this is pretty interesting. So in simple words, this is an auto login feature where if, for example, let's say we're talking about any license paid game that you will be offering, and let's say you already purchased that game with an account, so you can set up your paid account over here, the login and password, to let the gamers use your account to play that game online, and they don't have to pay for that. So are you planning to provide these license accounts or keys to the gamers, or you will expect them to bring their own accounts if they want to play some game?
Probably we have our own.
Okay. So you obviously you can purchase these accounts from these launchers or these platforms themselves, like Steam, Epic Game, and so on, and we will help you to deploy them into our system. So, for example, let's say we're talking about LOL, which is a free game, but still, if you want to add an account, you can just add the login and password over here, and now the gamers have an option. If they have their own account, they can use their own account. If they want to use one of your accounts, or how we call in our company over here, like house accounts, they can use a house account, which is provided by you guys. So how the gamers understand which game has an account and which does not, they come to the content section. This yellow key icon that you see, let me show over here, this is better. So right over here on top of this Dota 2 that you see, yellow key icon, this represents that this game has a license account from you guys. Or I can simply just use this filter key to filter out all the licensed games that you're providing over here on in which you have actually provided the accounts. So all I do is just click on it and I'll be automatically logged in from the first available license that we have set up over here. Because let's say we're talking about 13 PCs that you guys would potentially have over there. So you can add 13 of these accounts over here. And now the gamers, all 13 PCs can use your license accounts and they don't have to use their own accounts. And obviously it's not compulsory that they have to use your accounts. If you want them to use their own accounts, they definitely can. So this is how we set up the games and applications. Now, what I was building up to is this game update feature, which you can read over here as well. Any content card that I've set up, this game is available for game updates. So here's the game updates feature. First of all, here you can see there's a notification that I have 2 updates available. So it notifies you about an upcoming game and their updates. And here I have the list of all the games that I have. All I, as an admin, have to do from this feature is just to come over here. First of all, be notified that there are 2 notifications, 2 excuse me, 2 updates are available. I come over here, I see a CSGO update is available. I select this, I see how many PCs I have connected, and basically how many PCs the update is available for, and I just hit start update. It automatically starts mass updating this game in all the PCs. How the update gets here is because we have our own offices and we have our around the world, and we have our own servers, like BV servers in our offices. And what we do is we first of all get the update into our servers and then deploy them through our cloud services to all the clients who are using this game update feature. So again, on your part, what it will be is to come over here, see how many updates are available, and just start updating the games. 90% of the games, since all of them are now cloud-based games and online games, they can be updated whilst the gamers are actually playing those games. In some games, there is a need, some big, huge games where there's a huge update, there's a need for the gamers to log out of their session or should not be playing that game so the update can happen. But 95% of the games can be updated without us having to disturb the gamer and asking them to log out. So this is how our update feature works. I'm confident this will help you guys a lot, but obviously this will depend on your final decision whether you guys will be having a server on site or it will be a more like a traditional setup. The only difference, this works, game updates works in both way. The difference is that we here, this is not an automatic process, but in the diskless system, it's an automated process where we can just turn on the automatic updates, and as soon as the updates are here, the games are automatically updated, so you don't have to even interfere with that process. So any questions over here, anything that I was not clear on in the content section?
Do you have a recommendation? Do you think the server one's probably the way to go?
If we're talking about recommendations, we normally recommend to have a server once you're past the 20 PCs point. Because the thing is that having a server on site is one thing, keeping that up to date is another thing. Because obviously we can just do so much right remotely while providing you support. There has to be somebody on the site in case something breaks down. So that's an additional person that you guys will be needing. If you want to go down this road, definitely there's a lot of specialists. I'm sure you guys will be able to get that, but there has to be somebody who will be able to come and help you guys because we definitely help in the initial phase. I'm sorry, you said something.
Let me ask something.
Yep.
Okay, what would be the easiest way? Like, I'm super busy, and like you said, I need something that's going to make it update automatically. It can do the updates for me, and then I just need to be able to check on stuff here and there whenever I got some time. But like, there's times like last week I was working a week long basketball tournament, and I need to make sure those, if we got a game and stuff going on too, I want to make sure that stuff's running smoothly. So, I mean, what's the best? Kind of like David said, is it going to be better to do it the old way or to have something on site?
Well, at the moment, obviously with the server on site, having a diskless system on site, it's an automatic update. You guys do not have to worry, but there has to be somebody over there if in case there has to be some settings that need to be changed or something that needs to be fixed in the server, or if you want to add a new game. Over here, however, this is remotely done. So even if you're sitting not physically inside the facility, you are somewhere else, as you mentioned, on a basketball tournament, and you want to see the updates, you can come over here, be anywhere, open up your laptop, and you can do the updates for the center. This is one benefit. But when we're talking about updating the games in a server, they're done automatically. So obviously, from that manner of speaking, it's easier, but again, it's not an easy part to set up a server and to be able to manage that on well, let's say a weekly basis. Because updates are always coming for Windows and everything, and there has to be somebody who needs to who needs to make the changes to the image that we're copying from this server, and basically save those changes. And even I can't do that because I've been working with this for 5 years now. Even it's not easier for me to take from a technical standpoint to manage that on my own. So,
but you would just, instead of updating every machine, you would only have to update
yep,
the server one, right?
exactly, that is correct.
So if one person could update the server machine every week,
yep,
then they wouldn't have to do all. How many do we have, Austin? 12 or 14?
13. We have 13.
13. Okay.
mm-hmm. Sure. What we do in this case, we have 24/7 support in most of the cases, especially connected to our the server machine and the diskless booting. We do provide support. Initially, we will help you to configure and basically do the initial installation of our product on the server too. And what I will do for you today is, after this call, as I mentioned, I will send you the requirements and recommendations we have, and you will find exactly. Yeah, you will find exactly what the machines and not just the machines. Actually, we will help you with the network side of things as well. What kind of internet connection, routers and switches that you will be needing to have a smooth experience.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, go ahead and send that. We can look it over and check the pricing out.
Sure.
Compare that. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. I will be sharing that with you today after this call. And obviously, if you have any questions, I will be happy to address and help you guys throughout the process. Now, let me just set up a period, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about the statistics and how they work. So let's say I want to set up for the last month. Now, we have a lot of different kinds of reports available for you guys based on the use case and the model that you're building. These 4 will be the most useful, where you can see, first of all, we can track down the new registered users. So, okay, in the last, let's say 2 months, how many how many user accounts were created and when they were created, so we can track them down over here on this timeline. Then we have the content popularity. So this is basically helping you to understand what kind of game application or browsers are being used the most, or basically what the gamers are spending the most time on. In both cases, this will work fine if you have a diskless system or it's a traditional setup with disks or drives into each of the station. We will still be able to help you understand the games and applications that are being played the most. Then we also will track down the most active users for you to help you understand how much time they're spending. Let's say in the last 2 months, I've spent 275 hours on this on inside your gaming center using this account. And also, we will be able to track down the most popular workstation or the most favorite PC or a console that the gamers like to come and sit on. So, for example, in my case, I have only one practical station connected, which is online. Uh, that's why it shows me that I've spent 455 hours on this station in the past 2 months. Now, all these reports that I just showed you, they're downloadable in either of these three formats. All you got to do is just select the time period, click this button, and just download the report in this format that you will want. Now, this is one of the ways how we do reporting. We used to do it this way, and I personally like this side of the reporting because not just from a downloadable standpoint, but also this is a bit more interactive for me personally. This is a graph which, let's say in my case, is showing me in the last 7 days what are the peak timings and where are the non-peak timings. Basically, when there is nobody coming in and when the machines are completely occupied. This is one of the things that I like over here, and also the content usage or the content popularity that I was showing you over there, I find it more interactive over here is because I have options to choose what exactly I want to see. For example, in the last 3.5, 4 years, I want to see a total duration, basically what game or application they have spent the most time on, that what has been launched the most, and especially what they do not use at all. So we will be able to help you understand what games are popular, what they do not use, so you can delete such games and free up some space in your stations there.
And
Or in your
we can put whatever games we want,
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely, not a problem. I mean, this is just a list of games that I have, but you
Yeah.
can have your own library over here of the games, not a problem.
Okay.
You mentioned 20 workstations or more about the server. Does that just PCs or workstations, or does that include the consoles too?
No, the consoles do not work with any kind of diskless systems because the consoles have their own memory and they have a different operating system. So diskless systems are only for PCs. They're not limited to Windows. We are limited to Windows, but generally diskless systems. There's a lot of Chinese ones that I've faced a few years back. They work with Linux as well. So
Do they,
diskless
do they
system
work on
works with Windows.
Chromebooks at all?
I'm sorry.
Chromebooks, do they work on Chromebooks?
Yeah,
Oh, you can. So this works on Chromebooks?
yeah, I mean, it just requires a specific kind of a setup, but it should work on that. I mean, as far as I was given to understand from our technical team, I will be able to check with them once again, to make sure that with the recent updates they have done, whether it's working or not. This is something that I remember from like almost 6 to 8 months ago. Let me check that for you, and I will get back to you via email, hopefully within a few hours today. Uh, but from another standpoint, definitely I will share with you the specs and recommendations, so you will have a better understanding of how our system works and what requirements we have. Alrighty, so let me jump to sorry, not over here, so to the users database. So this is your database, and as I mentioned to you that you can, first of all, in the start of our discussion, I told you that you can create these user types, and I've already created some examples. So this is where I created those examples, and you can definitely add your accounts, change the current ones, change the color they represent once they're logged into a station on the map. Now, right over here in the database, we have all the users, all different types, including the staff members. And I would actually want to build up on the staff members part of it and show you what we can do with that. So the process of creating the account from here is pretty similar if you're creating for a member or for a staff member. The difference comes over here when we choose a member, all the additional fields disappear from here. But if I choose staff, there are 3 additional fields where I have to help the system understand the access this person or this staff member has to basically access anything inside this system. So first of all, we can make them a super admin, which let's say, for example, you guys will be super admins, so you can remotely tap in, fix the problem, see what is happening, and generally track down and change settings around. I'm sure you will not want that for everybody, that everybody will be able to do and change settings around. So instead of making everybody a super admin, what we can do is we can create different user groups over here. These 2 are here by default, but we can remove the current ones. We can add more user types as you would want. So let's say there is a user type we created, administrator. We select the admin, save it. System automatically takes us back to this main screen. We just go to this block, roles and user access. Add a role for this person. Can be anything, IT manager, front desk manager. We choose the user group over here again, and now we can block off their access to pretty much everything inside the system. You do not want them to be able to see the statistics. They cannot. You do not want them to access the map, which is the most basic thing in our system. They cannot access the map. So you will be able to control what the staff members are able to do and delegate tasks accordingly. Now, there are a lot of ways how you can track down the gamer's history, like the session history. In this case, you will not find a use for the balance history or the receipt, but you can also track down their passes history. For example, what kind of passes that I mentioned to you that you can create a 2-hour, 3-hour pass for them. Let's say there's a 3-hour limit. So you can track down that what kind of passes this particular person has been getting from you guys, or the passes that have been set into their accounts, and other different kind of histories you can search as well, basically how much time they're generally spending. Now, we obviously, in your case, you guys, again, you will not use our loyalty program system, our rates, or our passes. But what we can do is we can help you to create different groups. Groups would be, again, different kind of experiences or zones, as we call them over here. That can be, if there's, let's say, 13 PCs, let's say 10 of them are, if you're not having a disk list, for example, and you have a normal setup, you have 10 of them which are regular PCs and 3 are VIP. We can help you to basically create a different experience for this group. And what we can do when we create these zones and have some PCs or consoles into these zones, when we're creating any kind of content card for a game or application, at the bottom of this, once we go from the license keys, we can select over here. I'm sorry, let me just do like this. Select over here which of these groups can actually play this game. So let's say if you want to create a separate group where, let's say, you do not want these kids to come and sit on any other machine, but you want these kids to, let's say, underage kids to just sit on these 3 machines because there is a limit on what kind of games they can access. So this can be useful in that phase as well, where you can limit what kind of games people can play on what kind of group or zone machines they're sitting on.
Well, most of our games that we want to be able to offer, it's got to be E for everyone.
All right. So in that case, you will have just one group, or even if you do not want to create a group, that's not a problem. I mean, for example, right now I have all these groups, but if they're not here, that's not a problem. The game will be available.
Yeah.
All right. Now, jumping to last but not the least, let's say feature from our side on the admin panel is the news section, or you can call it announcement section. So you can pretty much set up news or announcement about pretty much anything. Can be about an upcoming tournament, any event, something else that you want to let the gamers know about. So let's say there is for example, you mentioned basketball tournament just popped in my head. So let's say there's a basketball tournament that you want the gamers to know about. You can set up a news about pretty much anything. So you will write the title, you will write the preview, you will input the text that the gamers will read. And if you want to set up a link, it's not a problem. We can help you with that. And then you will select the image cover that the gamers will see. And lastly, you will set up an expiration period. In my case, there is no expiration period. It's not even turned on. So this news never expires. And there are no limitations. You want to set up 10, 5, 20, 25, as many news as you want. You can set up over here. This is how we're creating the news, but on the gamer side, this is how they view the news. If you have multiple news set up, they can use these arrow keys to scroll between different news, click on the news they're interested in, and read all about it. And if there's a link over here, they can click on it and they'll be taken to that web page by the default browser that you will set up into our system. So that's pretty much it from the admin side. Let me just quickly jump to the gamer station and start with some customization options for you and showing you what we can do on this side. So normally when the gamers log in, this is what they see. But in your case, let's say you're not selling the passes, you're not selling anything from the shop. So what we will do is, as you can see, there are 4 widgets on the screen: the news, the games, the passes, and the shop. We will remove these 2 widgets from the screen, so there's more space for you on the screen. We will help you to set up a background image over here. There's a logo that you can see at the left top corner. You will be able to set up over here. Now, as a gamer, the gamers are able to search for a content here. They can mark their content favorite, which appears on the right corner of the screen. They can change their account details over here. They can change their passwords. In this case, they do not have any balance history because they're not being charged, so they will not have anything over here. Now, as a gamer, there are a few things that I can do. I can lock my workstations. For example, I'm a gamer myself. I remember I used to go to gaming centers a few years back, and I had a few times where I stood up from my chair just to go grab something from the shop there inside the gaming center, and somebody locked me out and started playing on my PC. Now that is a little bit of frustrating situation. So what we added, and this not just is limited to the gaming centers where the gamers are being charged, it can happen anywhere. So we added this lock feature option where the gamer, if they just want to get up from their PC for like 5-7 minutes without risking their PC, they can just lock their workstation. They just come back when they're done. They just put in their password and they resume from where they left off. This is an option available over here. And obviously the gamers can log out of this station too. Let me just log out and show you on that screen a little
If
bit.
they locked it and for some reason they didn't ever come back, would I have access to
Yep.
unlock it?
Sure. Yeah, you can log out the person. So this is how it works. For example, let me just show you the journey. So you can log from your side as well, by the way, right over here.
Which soccer field for our U14 should they be reserving?
I'll text you.
You can send a message out to everybody too.
Yep, you can do that. So for example, let's say when there are people logged in, you can send them a message. You can either send them a message from here. For example, this is one of the options where they will get that notification, or the other option is the pop-up notification that can go to all of the screens at the same time. Over here, you need to come and select the station, see if the gamer that you want to talk to is there, and then send them a message from here.
Okay.
Yep. Now, as I was showing you, that the lock workstation works from both sides. So if a gamer locks their workstation and they forget to come back, which is normal, it's a human thing. If they forget to come back, you see this over here, but there is no unlock option. So what we do is we simply just log them out. So they're logged out of the station. Their account is logged out. The system is ready for a new gamer to come and sit, and now they can start basically logging into their accounts from here. Now, we also offer another way where if you do not want, if not all the gamers will want to create an account. If you do not want them to create their account, you want them to be as a one-time gamer, they can just come in, you give them an access code, and they use that access code like 4 digits over here, like alphabets and numbers mix, and they will basically be able to log in through that access code. They don't necessarily need an account to do that. So it's another option that we offer over here. And this screen, as I mentioned to you before, will be customized. We will help you set up your backgrounds over here, logos. At the moment, the backgrounds are static. But as of today, they mentioned that first week of April, we will be basically upgrading our user interface. And so there will be a possibility to set up a dynamic background over here too. And with that, this is pretty much it from my side that I wanted to show you briefly today. I'm sure you have some questions. I'll be happy to answer that for you.
So do you do you do anything to protect the computers to keep it from being the settings be changed on there?
Yeah, so if you're using a diskless system, then already there is nothing to worry about, because even if they make any changes, they delete anything, they download anything, as soon as the PC reboots or restarts, and that is done after every session. So the the more clean images pulled out of the fresh images pulled out of the server where the settings are as they were at the start of the day. If we're not having a server on site, and let's say it's normal setup where each PC has its own games and SSDs in there. So what we offer is the following. We offer actually a lot of things. One of the options is where we restrict them, as I mentioned, to this interface, which will be a normal scenario. In both cases, they're sticking to this interface, so they cannot go to your normal desktop, so they cannot reach your drives like drive D, drive C, so they cannot delete anything from there. They cannot even go to your settings. If I try to go to the settings from here, it does not allow me. It just bounces back to this screen. Additionally, what we can
like
do
that. Yeah.
thank you so much. And additionally, what we can do is with the browser. So even if you want to offer, like, obviously it's a community center setup. So maybe the people will find a use for browser to check their email or anything else. And even if you offer them a browser access, we can block any and all kinds of downloads from the browsers. And also what we can prevent the gamers from doing is connecting their external drives. For example, their USB flash drive or their external hard drive. They can connect, the system will not read it, so they cannot access it. But at the same time, they can definitely connect their personal mouse or keyboard, and they can update the drivers as well. But at the same time, if they use a flash drive or a USB like external drive, it will not work at all.
Oh.
So from security standpoint, these are, with both options, this is how it works. Obviously, as you understood from the server standpoint, things are really easy in this manner as well. That security wise, obviously, they make changes to their personal PC. It does not affect the server. Through the network, it does not affect the server. And at the end of the day, as soon as the gamer logs out, the system automatically reboots and just pulls a fresh image from the server. So all the settings are as you did in the server, not as the changes that were made in the gamer PC.
Right. I like that. And could you put Austin and I's email address on there? If you could send, like you mentioned earlier, all the hardware specs and software specs, I like it. I'm kind of interested in see what that would take, and also any pricing you have. I apologize. We have a hard stop at till 2 for another meeting we both got to be on. But yeah, I would be interested in looking more at the side of what modules you do offer. I like it that they can go just to that one interface and can't do anything with the start button. That way they don't have a chance to really change anything. You know, they can't get in there and start monkeying around with nothing. So.
That is the idea, yeah. Because again, I'm a gamer. I've been a really big part of the company's development because I gave them everything that I saw, and I've been traveling around the world all my life. So, and I've been a gamer all my life, so I've seen how these things go in different parts of the world. So yeah, this has been a journey for us. We're actually fairly new. We started like in 2017, so not very long ago, and we work with about 1,300 gaming centers in about 90 different countries. So yeah, we're trying our best, and definitely, as you can see, we have pretty much all the bits and pieces into one solution. So what I'm going to do, I recorded this meeting, as I mentioned. I will send you a copy of this. I got Austin's email too, so I will add him to the thread. I will send you the pricing. I created a price quote before, but Kyle told me via email that there's only 10 PCs and 30 consoles, but I was given to understand there's a little bit more.
13.
Yep, 13 PCs and a bit more consoles.
There should be.
How many?
There's only 8 PlayStations and there's only 8 Xboxes, so that's only 16 consoles.
All right, in total 16. Got it. So yeah, that also changes the pricing a little bit because as I sent to Kyle via email, and I will send you guys today too, we have 2 options for controlling the consoles. One is an application, one is a hardware box. The application is a subscription model on top of your subscription for the software, like the management software, but the hardware is a one-time payment. You already have the subscription of the management software. You just buy that hardware and you have it with you. But it takes a bit of a time because we ship them out of our R&D in Europe. So it takes about 24 days. So the downside of having the hardware would be, and from my standpoint, is if something breaks down, you have to wait for the device to get in, and that device can operate, but that'll be in the dark. Senet cannot control. Whereas the application, as I mentioned, we have 24/7 technical support. Anything happens, we are there to help you guys out.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much. And
thank you.
I think we've got your information. When if Austin and I or Kyle have any more questions, we'll be reaching out to you, Mohammed. So
for sure, definitely. Let me write you the email, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have along the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.